Yes, amid its live streamed genocide of Palestinians, Israel is, of course, increasingly isolated. Even Netanyahu admits as much. But the country is pushing back now with a PR blitz on multiple fronts, the largest campaign of its kind. According to filings and reports that have only just come to light, Israel has launched something called the Esther Project, an influencer program targeting Generation Z. It pays video stars $7,000 for pro-Israel posts. Also, the country is spending $1.5 million on AI-driven social media activity, $4.1 million on ads targeting Christians in the US, and there's a tour of US cities and campuses with exhibits and VR October 7th experiences. Israel's foreign ministry has been allocated a total of $150 million in this year's budget for PR efforts. So this is just a fraction of what's come to light, and globally, I'm sure there's a lot more. So it's going to become increasingly difficult to know what is genuine advocacy for Israel and what is paid for, or what has the Israel government behind it. At the same time, a pro-Israel constellation of billionaires have bought TikTok's US unit, the key platform for Palestine activism, and as you'll know too very well, Katie, in one of the big three American TV networks, CBS, is now led by a self-described Zionist fanatic, the journalist Barry Weiss. Katie, as a key watcher of these things, what do you think we should be thinking about all of this? Israel's PR blitz, the shifting landscapes for the pro-Israel narrative?
Well, I think that something we should also add to Barry Weiss's illustrious biography is that she has a rich history of trying to get Palestinian professors fired. She tried to do that at Columbia when she was a student there. She failed to do that, but it's a rich irony, given that she positions herself as someone who embraces debate, free speech, and opposes censorship and cancel culture. I think that, the question of PR actually really relates to something that Giannis was just talking about, which is that Israel and its defenders present Israel as a project that exists to protect the lives of Jews and to defend Jews and create Jewish safety. And it's important to note that while the victims, the primary victims of Israel's genocide are, of course, Palestinians, also, the people of Lebanon, the people of Syria, the people of Yemen. We can't forget how internationalist Israel is in its aggression. Israel makes Jews less safe. And I say this because it's important for people out there. Now, there's some people who are not going to be reached by this no matter what. But there are some people, I think, who are in good faith really think that Israel exists to make people safe. And I just want to mention and kind of emphasize that it never existed for that purpose. And maybe that's a little bit of too bitter of a pill to swallow. And I should be less radical in my analysis here and just focus on whether it keeps Jews safe right now. We can get into that history. But, if you look at the Zionists during the Holocaust, the priority for them was not saving the lives of Jews. It was to build a state. And Ben-Gurion has this really chilling quote where he says, David Ben-Gurion, who is the prime minister of Israel, he said, if he given the choice of saving half the number of Jewish children by sending them to Palestine and twice the number of Jewish children by sending them to England, he'd send half of them to Palestine, which kind of crystallizes the priorities, right? The priority was not saving Jewish lives. You also had Zionists engaging in terrorism against Jewish populations in countries in like Egypt and Iraq in order to get Jews to leave. And this is just a consistent thread where a nationalist project is is the priority that is happy to sacrifice the lives of Jews. Israel is not safe for Jews because, for many reasons, but primarily right now because it's literally live streaming a genocide and saying that it's being done in the name of Jews. And it has a Jewish star on its flag. And most of the world, rightly, opposes what Israel is doing. And sometimes Jews like me will be called self-loathing Jews or anti-Semites. And I just want to say the irony is that while my primary motivation is not about Jews, it's about what's being done to Palestinians. The irony is Jews who speak out against Israel are making Jews more safe. Jews who support what Israel is doing are helping Israel make Jews less safe. And that's an important thing to remember. And you can look at when people are doing PR for Israel, that's obviously what they're claiming. but you can look at Israel's allies and ask yourself if you really think that the evangelical Christians who want Jews to go back to Palestine, where we can all, I think 400 of us get to convert and everyone else burns in eternal damnation. Ask yourselves if these are really people who care about Jews and anti-Semitism. In terms of the PR, I think that it's working less and less, and evidence of it not working is the fact that they're paying these total hacks. I mean, I almost feel bad for Israel because these people are so talentless. But you had these people being paid $7,000 per video, and they're just such atrocious videos. And the fact that you need to pay people speaks to the fact that, you know, there is not an organic movement of people who care about this in a way that there is on the other side, because the people who are fighting for Palestinian freedom don't need to be paid, right? We are out there in the streets every day. And if you look at the discourse of what people are saying who are pro-Israel, this is just something I've noticed. It's really often quite vile. And you can even hear what they're saying to not just about Palestinians, but I mean, there's a recent video where you see a guy calling these Jewish anti-Zionists slurs. He's calling them anti-Semitic slurs. He's saying violent things against them. I think that also you see, excuse me, a lot of wishing like ill on people, wishing violence on people. Unfortunately, though, there is the continuation of certain propaganda tropes. For instance, the beheaded babies narrative is still pushed. The rape narrative is still pushed. This is something that's like particularly upsetting, I find, because the reality is that there's a documented rape culture among the IDF of Palestinians. And there's been rapes that have been literally captured on video. And you don't have to be conspiracy theorists to think that. You can just watch Israeli media where they cover it. And, you know, you have these literal right to rape protests. The fact that that's not covered and this mass rape hoax attributed to Hamas is still covered really does show how biased our media is. One thing I will say, though, is that I was on Sky News the other day, and they did cover, right after my segment on Charlie Kirk, they did cover the flotilla, which was encouraging.
Good. Thank you for that, Katie. Yanis.